Hello and welcome into another edition of Sitting Down with Sgar. I'm the football voice of the Hoyas, Jeremy Huber, joined by Georgetown head coach Rob Scarlotta, coming off a 46-24 win over Davidson. Coach, so glad to have you and so glad to get you after a big win to start the season.
Yeah, it's always good to see you after wins. So, yeah.
Most definitely. We talked a little bit in your office after that win on Saturday, and I feel like no matter the opponent, anytime you put up points like that, it's got to make you feel good as a coach because your team, not perfect, but it's firing pretty well in that opener.
Yeah, it was really good to see all three phases contribute to us, having opportunities to score. Obviously, the run game for our offense was very good. We had a big, game breaker by Mason Gudger, which is a great welcome back for him on a huge kickoff return that turned into a really short field that we scored in the next play. And it's always great when you can score on defense. Quincy Briggs made a great play and had a scoop and score for a long touchdown, really to open the game up for us. So really good to see all three phases having success. And, as you said, lots to improve when you're going from week one into week two.
Coach, you mentioned that run game, and we saw it early in last season where that offensive line really came big and your backs did as well. This year, talk first about kind of the group as a whole, what they were able to do on Saturday to have a big day on the ground.
Yeah, it's a great group. I've given Coach Parton and Coach Klein, Coach Spence, a lot of credit on our offense. Last year, we had a really strong physical offensive line to start and had some injuries. They did a great job of having the next man up. So it was really good to see Kaysen come back and Lucini playing well with Trevor Swan. That whole group, I think we had about 8 or 9 people play up front, really contributed to a dominant run game. And we only ran 44 plays, and we had a lot of game breakers in there. I think it was a school record averaging, just under 10 yards a carry for the day. So anytime that you can start like that, it's encouraging, and hopefully we can continue that trend this week up at Marist.
Coach, staying with the backs real quick. Naeem Kearney, we know about him. We know his style. He has 2 touchdowns, over 100 yards. But Bryce Cox, folks got their first extended look at him, 2 touchdowns, almost 100 yards. Kind of talk about what you saw from Cox in that game.
Yeah, I would say it's the entire room. It's one of the most competitive rooms we have. We have confidence in all the backs, the guys that played on Saturday, as well as a couple of guys that didn't see much time. So Bryce had a good year last year, was a huge contributor for us on special teams, and is one of those guys that's there early and stays late. Extremely hard worker. We talk about defend the district. He's from right up the street in Baltimore, which is, a great, very talented football area for us. So hopefully he's the first of many we get from that area that continue to help us, achieve our goals here at Georgetown.
Yeah, that Mount St. Joe's product out of that competitive MIAA. Coach, one more offensive question. Of course, second start for Danny Lauder. Not the numbers of the first start, and how could it be, as he set a school record, but this time around manages the game. Thought he played all right. What are your thoughts on your quarterback in his second start under center at Georgetown?
Yeah, I think it's different when you're the starter and you come out in the opener, and Danny does a great job of preparing. We talk to the kids all the time about being a pro, and understanding what it takes to prepare and succeed and do well in a game. So, I think Danny had a great grasp of what we were trying to do with the game plan. Got us in and out of some really good calls and helped manage the game. So, he is, you can see he's got a really strong arm, and it was great to see him prepare as a starter. And work us through that entire game. So, I think he's doing a great job preparing, and that room as well with Coach McDaniel, I think is very competitive during the weeks, and I think that helps drive Danny, hopefully to continue to get better.
Rob, let's flip it over to the defensive side. Obviously, that Davidson option game is really tough. Prepare for the first game of the season. At times, they kind of were getting you guys, but you played well overall, and obviously the turnovers that were created were key. Can you kind of talk about how that defense did against a really tough assignment in the opener?
Yeah, when you open with an option team, I think it's always a challenge. If you ask any of our players, we're an attack defense that plays with relentless effort. So I think Coach Doherty and the defensive staff really did a good job of instilling that mindset that we weren't going to let somebody come in here and attack us, that we were going to go after them. And as you said, it takes a little while with the speed of the game in the first quarter to get used to the option. I was really proud of how our kids played. There were some mistakes in there, and that was one of the more physical openers that we've had. And I think that showed in the third and fourth quarter. So, very tough assignment. I think Coach Abel, I give those guys a lot of credit. He's done an incredible job with Davidson's program. And we caught up to it, I think, a little bit in the second quarter, and the turnovers absolutely helped us. Biggest play of the day, honestly, could be Pee Wee Kaluba's interception to end the first half, just to get us into the locker room with a lead and build some momentum coming into, that first drive of the second half with a huge kickoff return and touchdown run to open things up in the third quarter.
Rob, the other huge play was Quincy Briggs going the other way. The strip, the scoop, and the score, the triple S's. I tell you what, I think you couldn't teach it any better than what he did on that play, correct?
Yeah, you see the smile come across my face as you say Quincy's name. I think everybody in our program will react the same. He's a ultra competitor. It was great to see him make that play and go finish. And, I was talking to his head high school coach, Adam Banks, who played for us and had a similar play. It was an interception for a touchdown going same direction. So I sent him both films, and, it's great to have somebody coached by one of our alums that's, in my opinion, one of the rising stars in the Patriot League. Really looking to see him, put a couple starts under his belt and be an impact player for us.
Rob, you mentioned Quincy, but also some other guys who didn't play all that much last year who really made impacts on Saturday. Cooper Blomstrom had the safety, had some other big plays, while DeAndre Harris played great in the secondary. Can you specifically those two, but also how nice is it to see player development kind of paying off where guys are getting their chances and thriving?
Yeah, you take them one at a time. Cooper probably had one of the best lines in college football Saturday. Sack, 2 TFLs, a 4 safety, 10 tackles. I'm really proud of him. He was named the Defensive Player of the Week for the Patriot League. And then DeAndre Harris is somebody we highlighted during the week for our young guys. Last year we call our attack teams or our scout teams. He was mainly on scout teams and playing on special teams, and really has worked extremely hard in the classroom, in the weight room, and is an impact player. Not only did he play really well on defense, but really impacted our special teams, and is really putting together a nice opening game for himself. So, being able to develop those guys here in the Thompson Center in our weight room with our strength coaches, as well as, in the classroom with our coaches, I think that's a big thing that you'll see is Coach Dory will do a great job of using the talent that we have and playing multiple players so we can come at you in waves.
Coach, you're becoming a veteran of this because you just did the perfect segue. You mentioned Coach Doherty. He's our guest this week on the Sitting Down with Sgar Spotlight. Kevin, good to have you on today. And let's start here. Assess what your defense was able to do against a tough option attack on Saturday in the opener.
I think to begin with, we really tried to make things simple, but you look at the stat lines of Davidson coming in, number 1 scoring offense in the country last year, and 2 1,000-yard rushers. And basically, we made a plan that said those 2 cats were not going to beat us. And, we held guys that averaged 6 yards a carry to 3.7. So that was the starting point for building that plan. And Coach Sgar kept on hammering to me, we're faster than them. We're faster than them. And that obviously gave me the confidence to say, all right, this is the right plan. This is how we're going to attack this.
Well, they attacked it very well, and we know how much confidence Coach Sgar has in you. Let's kind of take it back a little bit, Coach. We know kind of the modern day, but going back when you came to Georgetown, it came in under Coach Kelly. What were you? Why was Georgetown an attractive place for you to come and coach in your coaching career?
I've had some pretty unique stops. Obviously, some time at Harvard. I'm an undergrad from Tufts University, but when you talk about bringing the values, the Jesuit values, along with obviously the importance of the academics and the type of kid, recruiting a kid of character to a tremendous place, it was just it was seamless for me, So that was, obviously having a relationship with Kevin Kelly at Syracuse, coaching up there with the Orange, getting to go back and work with him was big as well.
Coach Scarlotta, let's bring you in on this. Obviously, when you get the head job, you're kind of going through building your own staff. Why was Coach D a guy that you thought, I'd love to keep this guy in my building?
I've been very blessed to work with, people in the profession that have done it the right way. I started under Bob Benson. That's how I got my start, and was blessed to be able to stay here with Kevin Kelly and both my coordinators, Coach Doherty and Coach Spence, are people that I consider my mentors, guys that I've known from when I started coaching back in 1995. So, when you get a chance to run something, you want to bring in people that you trust, people that are going to detail-oriented teachers that are going to take care of the people around you. And when you say that, Coach Doherty serves not only as our defensive coordinator, he runs our Men for Others initiatives as well as a mentor for me, both on and off the field. So you're really looking for people in this profession that have been successful, coaching off the field, and number one, how they take care of people and how they develop people, especially here within our 4-for-40 model. So, I consider Coach D one of my mentors, and we're really blessed to have him in our organization and as a major part of Georgetown football.
Rob, I wanted to follow up on that. Why did you kind of have Coach D running the right terminology, charitable arm of you guys, where you're going out and doing things in community? Why was that something you thought that Coach should be very, very good at, as he has been?
You try to put people where their strengths are. Coach has a great understanding of people, great empathy for the human experience that I've seen, with the journeys that our kids go through. There was also a really close relationship to start out with Friends of Jacqueline and now with Team Impact. So, when you talk about being at Georgetown, it is all three phases. We want you to be great in the classroom, on the field, and, one of our three core principles is Men for Others. And that part of it, we don't just, if we're going to do something, I want to do it correctly. And I think Coach D has done a great job of doing simple very, very well. And through his work and his leadership, we've impacted a lot of people's lives on the positive side with our players, our coaches, and the people that we've been able to reach out to within, the organizations that we work with through our Men for Others initiatives.
Coach Doherty, while we're on the topic, what are some things your guys are working on? I know it's in season right now, but what are some things you guys are really kind of focusing on in that charity aspect?
The big thing right now is working with Team Impact. And, we have an adoptee named Caleb Peterson, who was at the game with his family on Saturday. So our guys have really developed a unique bond with him. And so he is part of our team. And that really gives our guys a boost when they see him and see the things that he's had, the challenges that he goes through and how it transcends to our football team. So it's a, the model of Team Impact, it's kind of a God thing as I look at it, the way it all came together. But one of my best friends is the founder of Team Impact. And we worked together a long time ago with the Friends of Jacqueline. So coming here again, to me, a God thing, being involved with the Friends of Jacqueline, and then now Team Impact, it's been a really, really cool thing. But outside of that, we also work with the National Bone Marrow Donor Program, formerly known as Be the Match. That's a big thing that we do in the spring. And then there's a lot of other little things on the sides that we're also involved with.
Yeah, some wonderful work by you and your guys. Coach, we got to go back. It's Marist week, and you were a coach up there under Coach Parody for a long time. Obviously, some other stops along the way, but what are some of your memories of your time in Poughkeepsie?
Well, I do remember every year we played Georgetown, that was the team. That was the team we wanted to beat. That game was always circled on our schedule. And it was always this game. Well, I know this game is really, really important to that football program. But it was a great experience for me to develop as a coordinator. It was the first time I kind of ran my defense, and so I did learn a lot of football up there. Pretty location. It's going to be a great trip for us on Friday.
Well, Coach Doherty, I hope you have success up there against the Red Foxes like you did against Davidson. Coach, thank you so much for joining us on Sitting Down with Sgar on the Spotlight.
Appreciate it, Jeremy.
That's Kevin. Of course, Coach Scarlotta. Before we wrap it up, we got to talk about those Marist Red Foxes. Kind of handled Marist over the last few years, but Coach Parody retires. Princeton, Mike Willis comes on and takes over the program. What do you know about this new version of the Foxes?
Yeah, it's a good question. It's modern day college football. They have a number of transfers. They did a good job of going out and finding talent. And you're not going to find a head coach and coordinators coming from more successful programs than Princeton's program and Harvard's program. So, really respect their coaching staff. I think they've done a great job of energizing their alumni and their base there. There's a lot of buzz around the program. So, we're going into the game a little bit blind. They didn't play this past week. We know their personnel from the last couple of years, but like I said, they have some new additions. So it's going to be it'll be a very interesting game for us, especially early in the game, to just assess what we're seeing and do a great job communicating with our players. I think it's a great opportunity for us to test out, how we are as a staff, how we are as a program, and think how we're going to take this challenge with having not a lot of things to go off of from a scout perspective. Our practice week has been really centered around Georgetown. We're going to worry about the things that we did incorrectly and learn from them from the Davidson game, and just keep developing our program and our schemes, and see what we get here in the first quarter when we get up there.
Well, we hope for the best of luck for you in that game, Coach, as you take on Marist. Rob Scarlotta, thank you so much for joining us on Sitting Down with Scar.
Great. Thanks, Sharon.
Remember, Georgetown takes on Marist, a noon kickoff just north of the Big Apple. Get on out and check it out, or watch it on ESPN+. Boys looking to move to 2-0. So for Coach Scarlotta, Coach Doherty, and our producer, Eliza Kravitz, I'm Jeremy Huber saying so long on Sitting Down with Scar. Hoya Saxa.